and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome y'all back. We are on episode 2 for the newly launched Crips Logic podcast. As always, it's your boys. I'm your host, Jordan Frost Mitchell, and I'm joined by my co-host. Say what's up to the people, sir.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Zay, back in full effect.
Yes, sir. We are here with a quick broadcast here because we are coming to y'all on the heels of this Super Bowl matchup. History was on the line here tonight, but we're gonna get right into it. Actually, we're gonna recap real fast. I first want to just throw a shout out to everybody that been supporting us from the get go. I think we had a pretty solid feedback that we got from the first episode, man. Outside of my audio being a little on the garbage side, but we're working on that. Sounds like we trending a little bit better, man. But what are your thoughts coming out the first episode, my brother?
Oh, no, I loved it. It was fun recording it. That's most importantly. And then, I do love the support that we received. We did get some viewers. We got some real good constructive feedback. I love the comments. And most importantly, shout out to the 6 people that went ahead and followed the podcast on Spotify.
Absolutely.
Not just listening, but, those follows helps us out a lot. So continue to follow, continue to like, continue to provide feedback for us to give you a better experience moving forward. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys a lot. And let's continue this movement.
Absolutely. Definitely appreciate the love and the feedback and support from our newly launched fan base. Definitely are the reason why we are doing this, man. And, we are dream chasing, and we're definitely looking forward to coming with some more products. And I forgot to do this on the last episode. Shout out to my boy William H for helping us out with our theme music as well. He was a part of my previous podcast with the Triangle Offense podcast. So shout out to William H and my boy Q for looking out with that as well, man. And if nothing else beforehand, we're going to get right on into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yes, sir. So we obviously just got done wrapping up here with the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs was chasing history, going for the three-peat. And this is in a rematch from our Super Bowl from 2 years ago against the Philadelphia Eagles here. And I want to say what a game, but it really depends on who you was pulling for in this and who you weren't pulling for in this, because some people are happy with the results. I'm sure some people are beyond miserable with these results. What are your thoughts, Zay? I'm going to let you go ahead and take the first crack at it.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. So my thoughts on it, first, I was right with my prediction as far as who the winner was going to be. Off with the score, I expected a more competitive game from the Chiefs. I didn't see the beatdown coming in this game, honestly speaking. A little off with the Saquon prediction as far as him going off. But with him not going off, he still did what he needed to do in other ways, and which we'll touch on moving forward. But yeah, so, it was a great job by Philly tonight. They did everything they needed to do. Hurts, I said that he's a game manager plus, and that's what he was today. And borderline over back over to that game changer. He showed flashes of that Super Bowl 57 performance. Granted, he threw for over 300 in that performance. He didn't go for over 350. 300 yards today, or even 250 today. He only threw for 221. But he was very efficient with the ball. Outside of the one arid short throw that he made when facing the pressure on the interception, he was very efficient with the ball. He was very accurate. He was 17 of 22 tonight and throwing 2 touchdown passes to those outside guys that I mentioned on the last episode. AJ Smith, they showed up again, so that was big. And then him adding 72 yards rushing the ball. When we wasn't seeing this at that point late in the season, it's like, is he losing this step? Does he still got it? I think that extra week off from the NFC Championship game really paid off, and it allowed him to heal a little bit, get back healthy, and get those legs back and under him. Because 72 yards, and he did it in big time situations. That he went and got the yards that he needed to help, prolong a drive. Third down, 3rd and 4. He takes off up the middle and grabs another 10 yards, and he moves the chains. He was very important tonight, and that's why he won, your Super Bowl MVP. 3 total touchdowns today, great performance. But even though he did win MVP, shout out to that Philly defensive line. Ooh. They won that game tonight. Ooh. And I mentioned Jalen Carter.
Yes,
and
you
it
did.
Was not Jalen Carter tonight on the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
But he made plays that would allow the likes of Josh Sweat tonight to grab 2.5 sacks tonight coming off that edge. And also something that will not show up on that stat sheet on that 2.5 sacks. Josh Sweat on that bull rush on the second interception to knock the left tackle back into Patrick Mahomes to make it look like an aired pass. That won't show up on the stat sheet, but it was very important to that game.
No doubt.
He had a big game. Milton Williams, 2 sacks tonight. Jordan Davis, who I did also mention by name in the last episode, he also had a sack tonight. The defensive line got out of it, got after it tonight. And the craziest part is they got all this pressure tonight. They did not send a blitz tonight. They only did it with the front 4.
Crazy. Yeah.
The front 4. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a beautiful sight. And to also bring it full circle, I said that secondary is much improved from 2 years ago.
Indeed,
I said it. Yeah. I said, hey, they got some rookies. They are ballers. And I mentioned Cooper DeJean.
You definitely did.
Ooh. Cooper DeJean. 3 tackles tonight, 1 pick 6. Happy birthday to you, my boy. You are now a Super Bowl champ.
That's wild that went down his birthday.
Slot merchant. All respect out to you. You did your thing. I told you I said you would be a factor.
Big facts.
And you were a factor. You were a game changer today. You know, you swung the momentum back to Philly and just made sure the momentum wasn't flipped off with the beautiful pick 6.
Mm-hmm.
Great performance on Xavier Worthy. You know, if you just look at the stat sheet, you're gonna be like, oh, Worthy got off, but it was late. It was late.
They late and $1 short, a couple dollars short.
And I still give it out to him. He's a rookie, and ended with 8 catches for 157 and 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's not to go unnoticed, and he should get his flowers for that. That was a big moment. Then that was a big. He did it, and you know, waste time. The game was over, but he did it. And they showed great fight. But shout out to the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagle Nation. Congratulations on the second Super Bowl in the last 6 years. Yeah. So, congratulations to you. I'd love to see you guys answer back and try to repeat next year with Saquon. I'm glad Saquon got his ring. Year one.
Shout out to Saquon Barkley, man.
Coming out of year one. So that's the big thing for me. I'm happy that he got that. But yeah, let me get your impressions of the games, Frost, and get your feedback.
No doubt, man. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. I mean, Philly just looked like a much more hungry team than what the Chiefs were. You kind of got the sense at a certain point in that game that the Chiefs were just kind of going through the motions. I mean, between the offensive line just really failing, Patrick Mahomes and even him, the great Mahomes himself, getting happy feet, kind of, giving up on plays a little bit too early instead of being willing to take some of them shots that were inevitable in the pocket, man. I mean, like you said, it's such a beautiful thing when a defensive unit can get that kind of pressure with only rushing 4 guys and literally being able to drop 7. It's so hard to be able to beat a defense like that, man. Like, yeah, you just can't describe the impact. I mean, when you got like guys over the top, guys underneath, guys like taking away certain like windows that usually would be open when you might be trying to send the blitz or run typical man coverage. The Eagles line are really, like, I know the MVP did what to Jalen Hurts, and he had one hell of a game. I'm not taking that away from him. But if there was any way to give like a co-MVP or like a certain unit the MVP honors, it's got to be that Philadelphia defensive line, man. Those boys played out of their damn minds. I mean, like, it really reminded me of some of that play that you saw from the New York Giants front lines when they back when Eli Manning was a quarterback and they had, Strahan, Justin Tuck, OCU Manura, young JPP back during that era of Giants football. Right. It reminded me early of that, man. Like Tom basically, first time you ever saw like a Tom Brady jersey, like dirty in a game. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was very impressive to see. And especially come off of the fact of how bad that defense was a year ago, with just some of the efficiencies that had developed, the change of coordinators, the pieces that were lost to free agency. They lost guys like Hassan Reddick, which impacted their production almost like instantly with the loss of a guy like that. But I tell you what, they didn't miss a step, man. Even big shout out to Brandon Graham for fighting his way back and getting back on the field out there tonight to be a part of this with his team as well. But for me, it really came down to the war in the trenches. Me being a former offensive lineman, I know about how that goes and how important that battle is. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but bottom line, any quarterback, anybody that's a running back, anybody that is playing behind an offensive line, when you don't have time and adequate protection, man, it just totally kills your game. And that's exactly what happened to the Chiefs. I kind of been critical of them for the better part of the season, just highlighting the fact that, this defense had kind of been carrying them along, even which I know they had a ton of injuries. I know the Chiefs had guys in and out of the lineup, guys that were signed midway through the season, late in the season, big shuffling at a lot of their skill positions. I know that was the case, but, the theory goes, you can only patch up a boat so many times from leaks until eventually it's going to sink. And it kind of just happened slowly tonight, like as that game went on. You can only patch that thing so many times before those leaks start coming right back, and it gets to a point where you got multiple leaks, you're sinking, your personnel can't get there to, have that kind of damage control. So this really just came down to the war in the trenches firmly being won on both sides of the ball. Because even the Eagles offensive line, I know the stats won't be there to, because a lot of people will try to like kind of aim for low hanging fruit and say that, Saquon Barkley didn't have the kind of impact that you would have liked for him to have. I mean, with on 25 carries, 57 yards, 2.3 a carry, you expected a little bit better, but at the end of the day, like you said, Jalen Hurts kind of picked up right where he left off from that rematch from a few years ago. Very efficient, 17 for 22, only one critical turnover, but other than that, I mean, you still can't take away the fact he launched 3 TDs through the air, so the three level monster of them with their passing attack, their run game, and also the ability to keep the chains moving with quarterback mobility. It just all showed, man. They came in hitting on all cylinders, and the Chiefs, I mean, even as great as that defense is, man, they simply could not slow them down. And it's hard. I don't care how good your defense is, man. When you can't stop the run, you can't like slow a team down. And when your offense is failing to give you time to rest, when the time of possession is that much further in the favor of the other team, it's hard to win, especially at the elite level of the Super Bowl. It's just so hard to win. So, I hope Eagles Nation rocks it out. Me personally, I was tired to see the Chiefs win. I know history was on the line, but it's good to see them face some adversity again for a change. But my bias might be getting in the way, but I just couldn't be happier for specifically Saquon Barkley, man, to get that ring in lieu of all that garbage that was being spewed about him after that departure from New York. The fact that they paid Daniel Jones versus refusing to pay him, and I'm so happy for that guy. I don't know what to do, dude. Like that was just it's been such a powerful comeback for him in the midst of all that nonsense that all these know-it-all analysts were trying to spew about him potentially, man. So shout out to Saquon. Shout out to you, my friend, because you definitely called that Saquon was definitely going to have a bounce-back season against all odds. And big congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I hope Philly's rocking and live when the team comes back from NOLA.
Oh, yeah. I know Philly going to be rocking tonight. The city of Philly going to be rocking, and I know the Eagles is going to be rocking down there in New Orleans tonight. It's going to be a ball. It's going to be another Mardi Gras. It's Bourbon Street going to be crazy tonight. All drinks on the Eagles. Sure. All drinks on the Eagles tonight. But before we change up gears, I do want to mention one more thing. Because I did mention, the numbers for Jalen. I also want to mention the significance of this win for Jalen, because he did tonight as a quarterback first. Yes, he had the 72 yards rushing. He did as a quarterback tonight first, guys. He also stopped this notion that he's not a quarterback, that he can't throw the ball. He made the throws. That you're not gonna find many quarterbacks to make a better throw than he threw to Smith on that dime that he threw that touchdown pass on. That was a complete dime, absolute dime. And shout out to him. Like it's funny because they even had an ad on it. I don't know if you've seen it after.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
After the Super Bowl, them mentioning like, oh, he's not a quarterback. Y'all say he's not a quarterback. He can't make the throws. He's not this. He's not that. They already had an ad ready for it. Like, so like I said, shout out to you, Jalen. I said it yesterday. I said it last episode that he's not a bad quarterback.
By no means.
And it's time we put respect on his name as a quarterback. All great quarterbacks don't have to average throwing 350 a game. Like, we have to stop that notion. He doesn't have to be a 350 a game throwing type of guy. But if you got a guy that can lead you to a win, he'll lead you to an 18-3 record, and he's barely getting over 20 yards passing, but he's also giving you 40, 50 yards rushing, a touchdown. He's moving the chains, and he's getting W's. That's how you judge these quarterbacks, off the dubs that they're doing and just their overall performance in these big time moments. Yeah, he didn't have the greatest regular season, but what did he do in the playoffs? He didn't turn the ball over. The interception night was his first turnover since mid or early November.
Crazy stat.
It's February 9th, people. So yeah, like, shout outs to Jalen Hurts. Big ups to you. You were able to revenge the Super Bowl 57 loss to this same Chiefs team and Patrick Mahomes. Shout out to you. Hopefully I can see you guys potentially running back, unless you run into my beloved Bengals. And then y'all just have to get slayed. But yeah, we'll talk about that moving forward. But yeah, big shout out to Philly Night, Eagle Nation, Fly Eagles Fly. So going into our next bit,
Yes,
we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that beloved halftime show. And I want to get your thoughts on that, Frost, and see what you thought of it. We haven't shared our thoughts on this prior to record, so we'll hear each other's reactions and recap of the halftime show live and in front of each other. So
no doubt. But you know what? I'm glad we're actually tackling it right on the heels and everything's fresh. So the halftime show, obviously this year was hosted by, or actually performed by Grammy-winning artist Kendrick Lamar. My take on the show, I was actually impressed with the overall performance. I love the whole theme that he did, with bringing the Grand National out. Obviously, this was clearly a big promotion off of his latest album, the GNX album that came out back in the fall. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man, I've still been listening to TV off, like, even to this day, So I was impressed. I definitely was impressed with the choreography. I was impressed that he did bring SZA out. And correct me if I'm wrong, the young lady that was dancing that got caught on camera several times, was that Serena Williams, if I read that correctly?
Yeah, that was her.
Okay, got you. No, nice touch. So I definitely like the feed. I like the features of me. Obviously, that's a LA connection thing. West Coast was in the building representing. But the one thing that really stood out to me, man, was the incorporation of the legend himself. This was well played, totally unexpected. And I got to give a big shout out to the great Samuel L. Jackson for making that cameo as Uncle Sam. That was masterfully played. I actually took that being the greatest joy out of that because it was totally unexpected. I mean, I knew there was going to be some features, with SZA, some extra people coming out. Shout out to, I do believe that was DJ Mustard that was out there with him as well.
Yes, it was.
Too, man. Big shout out to DJ Mustard showing up for the kid. But I was just really impressed with the transitions that involved Samuel L. Jackson, man. That was well put together. If I had to give it a grade, man, I'm definitely gonna give it a solid I'm gonna give it a solid A minus. And I know some people might even be wondering why I'm giving it an A minus. I just felt that Not Like Us should have been excluded from it, but I can appreciate the antics, trying to tease if he was going to play it or not. But me personally, I'm tired of the song. I'm over it. I'll die on the hill saying that might be one of the most overrated tracks that I've seen, like kind of gassed up. But maybe that's just my exhaustion of the particular song at this point. But I'm appreciative that he ended it with one of my new favorite tracks from him with TV Off. I definitely think that was a perfect way to close the show. But that's my take. A minus. Good job with choreography. Obviously delivering with the performance piece of it. Beautiful cameos again with SZA, Serena Williams, and Samuel L. Jackson. Give it a solid A minus. Your thoughts on the show, my friend?
Yeah. So my thoughts on the show. I'm probably not gonna be as testy as you may think I'm gonna be. But it wasn't. I didn't think it was a solid performance. I thought it was subpar. I thought it was subpar. I thought it was boring. I thought aspects of it that you praised, I thought were corny. Wow, I take so Serena Williams being a part of this is corny. It's super corny, and I don't care if you be like, oh, it's a Compton connection. It's corny. You wearing the A chain, it's corny. Why are you wearing another man on your chest? Corny. All right. Serena.
I'm sorry, bro.
Serena, he deflowered you. And you're parading over these accusations. Corny. All right. You making the Super Bowl moment, your moment, Kendrick, about another man, corny. That's why it was subpar. I love the SZA being a part of it. The choreography was cool, but I knew what the track list was kind of going to be. It was cool. I felt like this is your moment. Shine in your moment. Don't make it about another man. And you did that tonight, Kendrick. So for that, I thought it was subpar. You didn't raise you. You still upped another man who's not even in the country right now, not caring about you right now. This happened back in maybe June, and you're still carrying it on. So I felt it was corny. You made your biggest moment of your career about another man. So in that regards, that's why the overall performance was corny. And then when people have to say the highlight of your performance is you looking in the camera and saying Drake's name, that doesn't speak highly of what the actual performance should have been.
Agreed.
And that's just feedback that I've seen off of socials. Your biggest moments can't be about mentioning another artist. It should have been showcasing your talents. Because I actually do like Kendrick as an artist.
Same here.
I feel like he didn't need to go that route. I don't feel like Not Like Us should have been played. You wanted to tease it, you should have left it at that. But you made it about somebody else tonight. When it should have been a celebration of you, and you pouring into your fans, but yet you poured into another man and hate into another man. When this was your moment. So for that reason, it was subpar.
What would you give it if you had to put a letter grade on it? Where would you say from obviously A+ to F-? Where would you put it at?
In the C- D range. Like it was. Like I said, I like this as I liked some of the songs that were played. All the songs off of NX. Was it NX? Whatever it's
GNX,
yeah, GNX. The Grand National. Luther's cool. TV Off is cool. I'm not in love with the project. I feel like his older songs are better songs.
Facts.
But I understand why he needed to play him. And I did like the fact that he did bring the Grand National on stage. I did like that touch. But I felt like it's a C minus. I feel like it's just being overly gassed. Like I seen someone say it was better than Mike Jack's performance. Like we have to stop.
Well, yeah, nah.
Like we have to stop. Like we have, like I understand that you guys are Kendrick fans and you guys want to push this move, and that's fine. But we don't have to gas like to the point that we're saying that it's better than Michael Jackson's Super Bowl performance. Like that's crazy.
That's definitely a reach.
Crazy. Like I need you guys just to realize what you're saying. Like it's crazy. Yeah, like I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of hip hop performers at the halftime show because they're not performers. Like so it's a lot of them walking around just with choreographed dancers around them. So it's not the actual singer themselves or the artist themselves actually performing or playing instruments, and it's just like he doesn't even dance, you know. So that also plays into it. But yeah, I felt like it was a C minus, C at absolute best. Like I felt like he should have kept himself the main thing and not worry about pushing this track further. It should have been a playback to pouring into your fans and giving them your actual music and the reason that you have the following that you have. So that's my take on it, and I may get ripped for it, and that's fine. I can live with it. No doubt. But that's my opinion of it. It's not the worst performance I've seen at a Super Bowl by far. It's not. But yeah, it wasn't Mike Jack.
Nah, I definitely agree with a lot of what you're saying. Just to even put it in that same zip code as Michael Jackson kind of performance. Let's, in the words of the great Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. Let's just pump the brakes here a little bit. I'm not gonna put this show up there in that kind of stratosphere. If I'm looking at it just objectively for what my expectations were, mine were pretty low. Again, kind of going back to what you said, with it being a hip hop artist that's not kind of into the theatrics as much as what some other performers may have been into. He definitely surpassed my expectations. And I too am critical of the fact again that it came back to not like us, that being a kind of a scene stealer for me, which is the reason why instead of kind of giving it an A+, because I was definitely impressed with the theatrics of the performance. I just could not get with the whole dynamic of him pushing this beef. I mean, let's be honest, man. We're a year into this beef at this point, and it just. I mean, I know it's coming off of the heels of the Grammy, winnings and the accolades that he got from it, which is still crazy to me to this day that a diss track winds up winning the Grammy. But another conversation for another episode. But I too feel that it just should have been left out of it. That's kind of where, like I said, for me, other than that, I felt it was a solid performance, given my expectations for it, because they weren't high. I was probably expecting a similar C performance, but at least for me, I was impressed. Maybe it was a little bit more of the lip syncing and choreography. And like I said, I just appreciate, I'm a big Samuel L. Jackson fan myself, so I was definitely appreciative that maybe that kind of, gave a lot of that a pass for me. But that's what this platform is for. We're going to say how we feel, keep it a beam, and keep it moving, But halftime performance, man, if you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out on your nearest social media outlets, because I'm sure there will be plenty of clips and plenty of comments to
for sure.
That.
Or just go straight to YouTube. I'm pretty sure it'll all be up on YouTube if it's not already there.
Absolutely.
And also keep in mind that you guys are praising a Compton thug wearing bell bottoms. But yeah, shots fired. On to our next subject.
On the emotion, shots fired. Nonetheless, getting back to the game in itself. Obviously, we've already highlighted the fact that Philadelphia Eagles are now the reigning and defending champs. the impact of this Super Bowl, man, I think the sky's the limit for Philadelphia, but obviously the NFL business of things is going to have a role in this. But I think the Eagles are playing with house money, man. If I'm understanding it correctly, they should be in decent position from the cap standpoint heading into the offseason. There's definitely going to have to be some still more retooling that needs to be done, man. But I think the future's pretty bright for Philly moving forward off of this. Again, going back to like we were talking about earlier with the Jalen Hurts, I think he dispelled a lot of the stuff that was starting to like creep up about him being a playmaker, man. But I think it just simply came down to the fact that now he had a reliable run game to lean on, and the future's bright for these guys, if you ask me. I don't know if I'm ready to jump in there and say that they're Super Bowl favorites again next year, because again, we got to see how this offseason goes and see who comes in, who departs. But they're young, they're athletic. I know there's going to be some impacts, obviously, with like Kellen Moore, like departing off their coaching staff to take the job with the Saints. I know that's going to be like a little bit of a dynamic changer. So we'll have to see who they bring in as an OC. But I think the future's pretty bright for Philly, man. They got a lot of good things going in the right direction. I'm definitely curious to see how their defense is going to continue to grow and progress. But a lot of young stars, man. A lot of young stars on that defensive side of the football. I think they're just going to continue to grow. But your thoughts on what this Super Bowl does for Philly, and what's the outlook, at least for right now at this moment? What's your feel for their outlook?
Yeah, like I think I think the future is real bright for the Eagles moving forward. Hurt got his money, but it didn't put them in a financial bind as far as the cap goes. So they're going to go into this offseason with a lot of money to spend, which is crazy to say with how talented that team is. It's rookie contract heavy, and they'll have a lot of money to still spend around and make additions to improve. Yes, like you said, Kellen Moore is anticipated to depart and take the Saints job. Hasn't been announced yet, but that seems to be what's going to be confirmed now that the Super Bowl has ended, that he'll be the Saints' next head man down there. So congratulations to you, Mr. Moore.
Congrats.
Yeah. So, I remember watching you out on the blue turf at Boise. So yeah, big ups to you, man. But he's going to have to be replaced. I don't have a coordinator in mind that they should go after. I don't know if it's be an in-house hire in promotion or if they're going to seek outside. But whoever does, it needs to have a run-focused type of mindset. Saquon and Hurts running the ball is going to be the key to their success moving forward, along with that defense, and letting Hurts, as far as the throwing game, be still that game manager plus that I mentioned last episode. So I think that should be the focus. However, with me mentioning the money that they're going to have, while the iron's hot, you need to strike. Mm-hmm. So I played around with some ideas, because not only do they have money, they have assets that they can move. When you're chasing rings, what's a late first round pick? Nothing.
Yeah, agreed.
I feel they should make or seriously consider two moves. And they don't have to do long-term obligations with the two moves that I have in mind that would keep them and put them in contention for maybe the next 2 or 3 years. First, number one, I would seriously consider picking up the phone and talking with Cleveland. Myles Garrett. Adding him to that D-line. Adding him to that D-line. And if you want to get spicy, also talk to Slay to see if he's going to retire, or if he has plans to continue playing in his career. To see if you can even package Slay and some picks and try to get him and Denzel Ward to be on the other side to replace him. And that's
interesting.
they would have the money to do it and also potentially re-sign Denzel and Miles long term. That's one. With that, they still would probably need to free up a little bit of space, just to have some added cushion for the next move. So I love Goddard. Goddard does have a pretty sizable cap hit, and he's been injury prone the last 2 years. He's healthy today and then help get a bowl, help get a ring. Great. It may be time to potentially say thank you for your services, though, and potentially replace Younger in the draft, get freeing up 10 to 12 million off of your books, and with your fellow 49er requesting a trade.
Here we go.
Yeah, like I think they should try and get the super slot with Devo, to try and get him to be that and say, hey, instead of using Kenneth Gainwell in that spell back and third down receiver, that's where you're going to come in and you're going to be slot and third down spot work coming out the backfield. You probably would re-sign for 2 years. In my opinion, he can't demand, the 25, 28 million that he thinks or thought once that he was with having an all pro next to his name. That's not him. I think those days are gone for him. So I would consider talking to Devo and seeing if I can facilitate that. If I can facilitate that, that's when I would say, yeah, Dallas Goddard, thank you for your service, and then look to replace with a young tight end to go with Calcaterre out there, because when Calcaterre, when Goddard was out, he stepped up big and proved that he's a serviceable tight end for them in their system. So that's what I would look to do, and that's how I see Philly moving forward. I think the future is bright there with Brown, Smith, and Hurts and Barkley. So
yeah, you just gonna go ahead and take my guy and add him to the bunch, and get a new version of the Super Friends over there in Philly with your predictions, huh?
Yeah, why not? Super Friends, activate, baby.
Let's just give Philly all the Infinity Stones while we at it.
Why not? Somebody got to hold the gauntlet.
Somebody has to hold the gauntlet. No doubt. I mean, I'd rock with that. Myles Garrett would definitely make an already devastating defensive line just that much more overpowered. Unfortunately, I am actually hoping that the team that you referenced, my beloved the San Francisco 49ers, are the ones that do find a way to land Myles Garrett instead of him going to Philly. I'd much rather see him alongside opposite side of Nick Bosa versus, with that young growing line there in Philadelphia. But I hope they find a way to, take advantage of Cleveland's fire sale and get their hands on Denzel Ward. So definitely like that move for him, but I'd much rather see Myles Garrett land with my boys versus going to Philly land there.
Yeah, but y'all can't get him either because y'all got to pay mediocre Brock Purdy. So.
Don't you start with that. This mediocre nonsense. He puts up elite numbers.
Mediocre.
With elite numbers.
Mediocre.
Yeah, with elite numbers. Can't dispute the numbers. Guys still one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the league. But definitely would like to see Myles land there. But interesting dynamic. I think if he were to make his way to Philadelphia, that would just already turn a damn good defense into basically being OP at that point. For those of y'all who don't know what that game in term OP is, that means overpowered. So just want to highlight that there for the non-gamers in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely be OP, opposite of Bosa. But that's also the same reason I think Philly need to go with it because of Jalen Carter. Interior, havoc wrecker. And then now you have him on the outside.
Man child, bro.
Even if you have to do that move and also thank Sweat for his services, Garrett is an upgrade of Sweat. Even though he balled out crazy tonight, he's definitely an upgrade. And I would heavily consider that upgrade if I can make that happen from Philly.
Philly's definitely got a bright future, man. A lot of possibilities. One thing about it in the NFL, if you got cap space and you can operate, man, you can do a lot of things versus some of these other teams that are cap strong and over the cap and, obviously going to launch their own fire sales. So definitely, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the spring when the new NFL year starts with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why I had an urge there to say 76ers. I think my mind just like jumped over the basketball out the blue.
Because the season over already, so you're already getting moving forward to the next season for us, which is basketball. Coming to y'all soon. So
no doubt, we definitely about to get in our bag as far as basketball goes. But before we do that, on the other side of the field, the now history has forsaken them. Unfortunately, they now will rejoin the rest of the pool as teams that were not able to achieve a three-peat in Super Bowls. The Kansas City Chiefs, where do they go from here? Interesting dynamic with the Chiefs. I mean, like I said, I share with my take earlier on with the Chiefs. I'm calling them the Chefs. My earlier take with the Chefs, because I got all day long throw shade. With the Kansas City Chefs, I think it's obvious, man. At least offensively speaking, they have effectively lost their fastball. And when I say that, they just can't simply go out there and do what they usually do. Out-bomb you, Pat making moves with his feet. Run game, they have a lot of questions to answer on offense right now. I mean, because I know some of those weapons that they had are on short deals that, they may be back on the move again this particular offseason. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I do know a lot of guys are like on 1-year contracts. And again, they were patches to fill some of these spots. So they got a lot of evaluation to do to see how they're going to evolve, especially at the skills positions out the backfield and on the perimeter. But the biggest elephant in the room is Travis Kelce. And I think time's up, man. I think for Travis Kelce, it might be about that time, kind of like with Dallas Goedert there. It might be time for the Chiefs to start looking around. I know he's kind of one of the heart and soul pieces and foundational pieces of the team, but he's not the same exact dynamic weapon that he used to be. The numbers definitely prove it at this point. He's up there in age. I know there's some off the field stuff that might be mitigating what's going on the field for him, but it just might be time. And I don't know if that's like time to retire or time for change of scenery out of Kansas City, but I'm calling it in advance. I would not be surprised if Mr. Kelce decides to hang it up after this season as far as the Chiefs goes. But your thoughts on the state of the Chiefs after losing this beautiful window they had to three-peat? Where do they go from here?
Yeah, well, the three-peat came to a close. You still got to give them props. For one, even being able to compete for a chance at a three-peat. They're their only defending two-time champs to actually reach the Super Bowl, going, to be able to defend that title. So that alone, they deserve all the props in the world. I'm actually not as critical of the window closing as you are. I think a few pieces need to be moved. I don't think Kelce needs to be out yet. Yes, his numbers, yards-wise, were not what we were fully accustomed to, but they weren't as far off as what people actually assume. He still eclipsed 97 receptions this year at 823 yards. His touchdowns were low. It was the lowest of his career in touchdowns. But yeah, still highly productive as far as receptions, moving the chains, and, 823 yards from the tight end position isn't anything to, act like he's fully lost a step. He just wasn't as big in key moments, but also I don't know if that's fully all on him. He's not getting all the targets in those moments that he was previously getting as well. A lot of those targets have been going, this season to Xavier Worthy, and last year, Rasheed Rice, who's coming back next year. So I think next year his production will actually taper a little more with Xavier and Rasheed Rice there. But I do think a bridge needs to be brought in. If I were looking at the Chiefs this year, I love Isaiah Pacheco. They also have Kareem Hunt, who has been great for them. But I would thank Hunt for his services, and I would look to draft another young back. Samaje Perine, he's older, so I would look to address him with one guy. And I feel like the perfect fit for them, I told you last week, it always reverts back to the Michigan Wolverines. But no, Donovan Edwards, I feel, meets their needs of a bigger physical back who's also a great receiver. You can get him in probably before his senior day, before his Senior Bowl practice. I was going to say probably 5'6". You may be looking at third now for him because he's shown how good he is as far as route running ability and receiving. So he's going to be a weapon that's going to be coveted in the NFL. I always looked at Donovan as a bigger broke man's version of Alvin Kamara.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
So I feel that he would fit their system perfectly. So I would look there, and then I would look to address the tight end. And I would look at the kid Fanning from Bowling Green in the second or third round. Or if you want to look in the first round, if Colston Loveland is there at that 31st pick, which I don't think he'll be there, but if he for some reason happens to be there, you get him. Or even the kid that I think is overrated from Penn State, you take him and let him learn from Travis. That's the reason I would if I was KC, I would take him.
Still not high on Mr. Warren, huh?
No, I'm not, and I don't think I will be. I'm just not sold on him. I haven't. And if you also want to look in the later round, the kid from Miami, Arroyo, he could fit in there, plug and play. And then I would address D-line. Jones is aging, so maybe
that should definitely show tonight. Yeah,
like not saying that he's bad, but he can't be the only force on the D-line. And yes, as a group, they held Barkley in check, but you've seen that he's wearing a brace now, and that knee got tweaked tonight.
Man, that was nasty.
So yeah, like that needs to be addressed as well. I feel like they're great at linebacker. They have young studs with Bolton and Gay at linebacker, and was it Chanel? Is that how you pronounce his name?
I think so.
I think that's how you pronounce his name. Karlaftis, if I pronounce that right, on the edge. I like him a lot out of Purdue. McDuffie is a all-pro caliber corner, still on a rookie deal. I like Eric Reed in the safety spot. I like Brian Cook in the safety spot, and maybe he looks to address a corner. I don't think it's not a rebuild in KC. It's a reload, and they just have to scout properly and effectively. I think they can do it all with younger guys. It's not them having to go out and get bigger marquee names. And then the only person I would look maybe to like, do we need them? Do they need Hollywood? Do you think they need Hollywood?
Like you said, you got obviously Worthy is the future for them. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Rice. I mean, obviously I know there's the off the field stuff, and obviously him coming back from injury. You got to see how he looks. I would say you might want to not close the door on bringing Hollywood back, because again, there's still, even though you expect Rice back, we just don't know what he's going to look like. I mean, I know odds are that most ACL returns are solid, but we have seen a couple that did not work out in the athlete's favor. So I'd say can't rule it out, but I definitely don't expect them to get everybody back like Hopkins and obviously Smith-Schuster and company. But you're probably going to have to choose between one of those three guys. But I feel if it's me, I definitely would say bring Hollywood back to the fold, because I mean that would make a very good like balance of like talent that you got to defend at the levels. You got your deep threats, you got your possessions, you got your physicality there with that group. But I definitely would say don't close the door and bringing Hollywood back. He will probably be my top priority versus the other guys. But yeah, I'm in favor of bringing Hollywood back for them.
Quick question, just because I literally just thought of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Lou, say like you move on from Hollywood, I think you also don't bring Hopkins back, like you said. So that frees up more money.
Right.
Like you said, they have their speed slot guy. Then they also have a slot merchant in Rice if he comes back healthy. But even if he doesn't, what if they go out there Devontae?
Who's also going to more than likely be available. I mean, I think everything kind of points that direction, especially with the departure of Rodgers out of New York. Also scary as well, too. I think I could easily see him being incorporated into that offense and give them the balance that they would need. Again, especially with you already having your slot guy, your deep threat already there. So, Devontae is more of a big target possession kind of receiver. That would be very interesting as well, too. I'd say that's a very viable target versus Hollywood as well. I would probably even say if somehow he becomes available via trade or free agency, we still got to see what the Jets are going to do on that front. It's not, like I said, odds are they're probably going to move on from Devontae as well and try to resemble some sense of continuity. Another conversation for another day with the Jets. But I'd like to move to Devontae, also another sleeper target for my 49ers as well. But again, another conversation for another day. But I would like that. I would like to see Devontae there potentially for them. I definitely think he could help them keep the window open potentially. So that's a good call.
Yeah, like I just thought of it, and I'm like, because even if Rice isn't healthy to start the season, he can still play that slot guy, and then he's still able to go to the outside as well. And his footwork is what makes him so unguardable. It's not like he has ungodly speed. It's his footwork, and the way that he shows you the same moves on all of his routes. So you don't know if he's running a hitch. You don't know if he's running a slant. You don't know if it's a go ball. If you think it's an in, you guess the in route. Next, he's turning it up. It's the in and go. And now he's beating you by 10 yards and it's a touchdown. So I think he would fit well. But we'll see. And I think he would love to play with the quarterback like Patty to close out his career. So, and it will give him a shot at winning a ring. And I know that's what he wants. So, yeah, just a little food for thought.
That was some good food for thought, man. There'll be some interesting developments to see as we head into the offseason. Like I said, I think future's pretty bright for Philly. Chiefs got a little bit of work to do to kind of retool and retweak and answer a couple of questions coming out of what should have been a demolition. The final score really won't tell the full truth of that game, but anybody that did watch knows that they showed up to the poker game a little too late as far as points goes, basically being down by 30 plus at one point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Kind of racing chances of a comeback in that game. But
yeah, Philly got after it, man. Philly got after it tonight, man. And it's nothing you can take away from that team. Jalen Hurts said it best in this post game. Defense wins championship, guys.
That's right, man. Offense sells tickets and defense wins championships, man. It's not always about the ability to outscore a team, but can you get stops in the moment of truth? And Philly made Patrick Mahomes look like a mere mortal here tonight. You got to give them their credit, whether it was getting pressure, forcing turnovers. They definitely looked very elite and light years better than what they looked a year ago, and even better than what they looked 2 years ago, in the first matchup between these two franchises. So definitely looking forward to see what happens in the offseason. But on that note, this officially does mark the end of football for this year. So sadly indeed. So no more college, no more NFL. For us football junkies, we're looking forward to the new calendar year here in about 30 days in March when the new NFL calendar year starts. And then for those of us that need some help with retooling teams, whatever acquisitions that happen, and then obviously there is the draft in the final week of the month of April as well. So lot of details to, sort through and see how everything does progress. But this does officially mark the end of football season. And at least for the time being, this will mark a wrap for us discussing football for the immediate future. We will most likely be turning our sights towards basketball and some other dynamic subjects in the upcoming episodes of the Crisp Logic podcast. Well, on this note, yes, sir, folks, we're going to get ready to call it. Wrap. It's about midnight here in Columbus, and we are getting ready to, shut it down for the night so we can get our Monday starting, get ready to rap about everything with our fellow peoples in the AM as well. But as always, we appreciate y'all tuning in and, again, continuing to show the love and support. I'm looking forward to bringing y'all more fire content and more of the dynamic between your new favorite podcasting duo of Frost and
Zach. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And as you see, there's going to be a lot more content and banter talking about my beloved Ohio State Buckeyes and that team up north, those Michigan Wolverines.
Michigan, put some respect on it. Put some respect on it. I ain't gonna say the other name that you can call us, but it's Michigan. Put some respect on it. I will say it's Ohio State. I will not say the, but you are the Ohio State Buckeyes. I won't say the, but like he said, I appreciate all you guys for listening, tuning in, giving feedback, and like I said at the end of the last pod, continue to pour in us as we continue to pour into you, and let's continue to grow as a community and as a whole. So yeah, thanks again, all you guys, and that'll be it for us tonight on the Crystal Logic podcast, and we're signing out, y'all. You guys have a good one.
Have a beautiful and safe time, and we will catch you on the next episode. Peace.